Sorry, I
Probably
guess
should have a secretary and a
we'll wait for,
manager.
you can pause it, please. The Aleppo Township Commissioners Legislative Meeting of November 18, 2019 to order. Can we all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Okay. Vice President Jones.
Present.
Commissioner Williams.
Present.
Commissioner Dara.
Present.
And Solicitor Harlan.
Here.
Stone, sorry. Manager Patterson. Here.
Okay, and we are being recorded tonight. Do I hear a motion to approve the October 21st, 2009 legislative meeting minutes?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Do I hear a motion to approve the November 11th, 2019 workshop meeting minutes?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Reports. Chief Haney.
Good evening, everyone. For the month of October, we had a total of 94 calls, which included 36 EMS assist calls, 23 traffic citations, and the several alarms, animal complaints. Again, the police blotter would recognize everything. Nothing of major importance that hasn't already been stated. Relatively quiet month in Aleppo, which is a good thing. Do you gentlemen or anyone have anything for me tonight?
I've seen some activity with the Amazon drivers. Is that something you're focused on, or?
Well, we're focused directly out on the hill going down for sure, and coming up in both directions with that. I have an open dialogue with one of the managers over there, and we addressed a lot of the different concerns. When they come up, I'll email them or stop over and speak with them, and they thus far have been very prompt to address them. So.
Has there been any progress on the key fob and backup beeper nuisance?
I've not heard of any other follow-up issues with that. I think that no further complaints with that. Again, that was addressed with the Amazon. They understood the difficulty with that, and I have not heard of any either way.
When do we think they've changed behavior a bit?
I do not know, but I know that I can echo things that he says that when they do that, I haven't heard any further complaints.
Anybody else?
Nope.
Thank you very much.
If you don't have anything for me, then
Yes,
thank you so much, folks.
thank you very
Enjoy
much.
your dinner.
Chief.
Have a great Thanksgiving.
Thanks, you too.
You too.
Fire,
No report.
emergency management,
No report.
public works.
Two things. The first item on the agenda is we did sell the old pickup truck what we do is when we buy a new piece of equipment, we sell the old one, and we used to do a sealed bid process, we're gonna drop it off, but now we use municipal bid, which is an approved process for people to bid. And so, the old pickup truck, you have a picture of it, the old truck, yellow truck with the plow and spreader sold for $14,100. And so I just need a motion to ratify that. I'll be talking to the buyer this week, and we'll be making the transfer this week.
Move that we approve the sale of 2009 F-3350 pickup truck to Carl Kruger for $14,100.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. And number 2?
Number 2 is the monthly public works report. So I'll just read some of the activities that they've been up to. A lot of leaf maintenance, keeping the equipment clean, cleaning leaves off of roads, the normal grass cutting as they're wrapping that up for the season. Storm damage cleanup, fallen trees, prepared the trucks for the snow season, installing salt spreaders and checking equipment. Did the municipal bid ad to sell the truck. Did the election, posted no trespassing and hunting signs on our property on Deer Run and School Street. And checked into different posts and brackets for new street signs, because we've been talking about that for a long time, but we're this close to getting some finally ordered. And ordered some salt to fill the building for the season.
Are we comfortable that we are adequately staffed for the first snowfall?
We are. We have, Tim is our full-time guy right now, and Jim is our part-time guy, but is working close to fuller time hours and is willing to do it. And then both Bills at the authority are willing to be the third in a pinch. We don't often need a third, so luckily we're not going to be relying on them full-time, but they have volunteered to help with that.
Good. Thank you. Communications.
No report.
Planning and zoning.
No report.
Tax collector treasurer.
I have Clayton's report for the month of October. For the month of October, taxes collected $12,740.99. Property tax, delinquent real estate tax, $568.35. Realty transfer tax, about $6,000. Earned income, about $7,800. Local services tax, $3,200. Business privilege tax, $10. And account balances for the end of the month, PNC checking is $328,038.35. The liquid fuels account is $78,208.55. General investment savings, combined accounts of $1,055,762.12. The reserve fund has $109,261.04. The capital improvement has $396,004.15. So we have money on hand, and then we have pledged and targeted funds, leaving net operating funds of $1,383,800.47. And the sewer bond account has $831,102.30, and there's a check going out for almost $400,000 that'll be going out at the end of the week. It's our semi-annual bond payment. And sewer capital account has $31,569.83.
Any comments? Welcome, Commissioner Richard.
Thank you. Apologize.
Finance. Do I hear a motion to approve the bill list, etc.?
I move that we approve the October bill list in the amount of $64,448.89. So we ratify the October prepaid bills in the amount of $18,287.68, and to ratify October payroll transfers in the amount of $20,367.20.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Aleppo Township Authority.
Last Friday, the authority board met with the authority engineer to review the final draft of a 10-year plan for the authority operations, particularly water and sewer. I thought it was a very well prepared document. It's got 10 years worth of financial modeling, and it's put into a computer system where we can change what's in there right now to reflect what actually happens going forward. Be a great tool for budgeting purposes and will be used as the authority prepares its 2020 budget.
I agree.
So do I.
Did you see the spreadsheet for the,
No. How big's on?
Gwen, do you have a copy of that big spreadsheet that we had at the meeting?
I do not, but I can get one.
Why don't you get a copy for Art
Sure,
And Amy.
and Amy?
sure.
If you can, why don't you email it to me? Then it makes it live.
Just, I attended part of the meeting, and I think the most significant thing is it's very clear, it's 10 years, and it's adjustable. And we've decided to keep it in the hands of the engineer, which we think is the place for it to be.
Yes.
Certainly.
It identifies, or it includes, all of the capital projects that are potentially needed over the next 10 years as identified by authority staff, and where they might be performed, what year, where the funding requirements would be year to year for that, projections on what might be required by way of rate increases to maintain the budget on balance. A lot of good information.
Sounds like nice work.
Ambulance Authority.
We got a letter from Quaker Valley Ambulance that they wanted to put out a statement addressing the upcoming closure of, or work of, on the Sewickley Bridge. And so they sent out a statement, basically just assuring people that they're working with different agencies to make sure that the ambulances can get there, because their main base is right on the other side of the bridge. So they're gonna be staging an ambulance over at the Sewickley Municipal Building so that there's something on this side of the bridge during this project. They expect that they'll be able to get emergency vehicles through during this bridge rehab, but they just wanted to let everyone know that they're working with everyone and they're aware of it and they're on it. So you have a copy of that in your packet.
Thank you. Quaker Valley COG.
No report other than the fact that next month we'll hand out. We've had the fourth meeting, which was all we had planned to do, and this one was on land use and community development in the corridor. And I'm looking for another document from them, which I'll have next month, I suspect. But it's going pretty well. It's beginning to make a little bit of sense.
Good.
And Susan puts out a monthly report and it's in your packet.
Yeah.
So
Good.
you have that to read.
Mr. Solicitor.
Yeah, at last month's monthly legislative meeting, you approved the settlement of the lawsuit involving Masonic and KLH Engineers and the township and the authority. Since that time, I've been involved with all the attorneys in preparing the release documents and the other documents necessary to complete that settlement. So I think it would be appropriate for the commissioners tonight to entertain a motion authorizing me to complete the settlement and also authorizing the appropriate officers of the board to sign, if necessary, any of the settlement and release documents.
So moved.
So, second it?
I'm going to read that back. Motion to authorize the solicitor to complete the settlement and to authorize appropriate officers to
Sign.
Sign.
sign settlement and release documents.
Is there a second?
I second. I second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And I have one other item that I'd like to take up with you in a short executive session after the meeting,
Fine.
or at the end of the meeting, not after the meeting.
Can you state the reason? Is it litigation?
Let me look at my notes, see what it is. potential claim.
Unfinished business, commissioner vacancy. Manager Patterson, would you read the most recent email from former Commissioner Duplaga?
Yes. Well, the background is that Commissioner Duplaga was on the ballot, couldn't get taken off in time, and so this is from her regarding that situation. Please accept my resignation for the upcoming term beginning January 1st, 2020, and as previously given prior to the November 2019 election. As a new hire in a civil service position in the Civil Service Reform Act, I am not permitted to hold an elected office. Due to the short notice prior to the election, I was unable to have my name removed from the November ballot. As a result, I decline the election result and will not be sworn in and will not serve the term beginning January 1st, 2020. Thank you, and thanks to all the residents of Aleppo Township for allowing me to serve. It has been a pleasure for me to assist, and I am proud of all the good work that we together have accomplished. Regards, Michelle Duplaga.
And therefore, with the election of Commissioner Richard and Commissioner Williams, we still have one vacancy. And I think it would be appropriate tonight to appoint somebody to fill that vacancy to be seated in January at the reorganization meeting.
Move that we appoint Judy Haluka to fulfill Commissioner Duplaga's term.
Is there a second?
Second.
And that would be the term beginning January 1st, 2020?
Yes.
So will this be for a 2-year time frame or a 4-year?
Two. Two, because she'll need to run the next election,
Yeah,
because she was
right.
appointed.
Is there a second?
Yeah.
I think our
Sorry.
Second.
Any further discussion?
No.
I think we'll do a roll call vote. The first one.
Sure. I guess I'm just going to call out each person's
Each
name
person,
and get
each
their
commissioner,
vote,
that's it,
right?
Yep.
Vice President Jones,
Yes?
Commissioner Williams,
Yes.
Commissioner Dara,
Yes.
Commissioner Richard.
Yes.
Welcome, Judy. All right, Manager Patterson, 2020 budget update.
Okay. What I'm handing out now is the first draft of the 2020 budget. We've had some budget committee meetings with both George and Clay. We've talked via email a couple times also. So that is the first draft, and it's balanced, so that's always good. It got balanced this afternoon, so that's even better.
Down in the wire.
Down the wire, just tweaking things here. And so what you have is the budget transmittal, which goes over some of the highlights, it hits some of the high points of it. Then you have the summary page, which breaks it, groups things into larger categories. This draft here has a blue header at the top, so if you get a second version, it'll be a different color. So right now, the first draft in this one's blue. They're drafts, so you have the summary page, and then you have the line item budget. There are some blue notes on the far left column that are account numbers. Don't worry about those. Those are for me to figure out the accounting success, just so I don't forget to figure that out. But I can go over some of the highlights that are in the budget, just some of the main things here. Property tax revenues have remained relatively steady, and there is no proposed tax increase for 2020, so this would hold the millage at 3.5 mils. Earned income tax collections have been on track. They've been doing well because of Act 32, which was enacted a couple of years ago, where it's automatic withholding, so we're doing well. The budget's the same for 2020. Local services tax revenue has increased, so I budgeted a $6,000 increase to a budget for $38,000 for 2020. Interest earnings are up again, so I have budgeted a $9,000 increase in expected interest earnings. Transfer, this is an important one. Transfer from other funds category has 3 transfers to the general fund budget for 2020. These include $124,000 to be transferred from the fund balance, which is the amount the 2018 audit shows as underspent from the 2018 budget. The other 2 transfers in this category are $30,000 from the capital improvements fund for general roadway maintenance, and that means because we're budgeting to spend $30,000 in general roadway maintenance, we transfer that in from the capital improvements fund, which is where we house our paving funds. and 100,000 from the fund balance. The second amount is being transferred to offset the anticipated expense of repairing the collapsed stormwater pipe along Deer Run Road. Availability of these funds for these line items will change every year depending on audit results and spending. The total of $254,000 in revenues is not a guaranteed amount each year, and future years may not have these funds available to balance the budget. So I'd just like to state that when it's transfusions in from other funds, it's not coming directly only from revenue, so just be aware that that is coming from savings, which we have and can do it, but that's not a guaranteed forever situation. So I just like to point out when it's not balanced, the budget's not balanced solely on revenues for the year. All other revenue sources have been adjusted according to end-of-year projections for 2019, and a lot of them are expected to remain relatively stable in the coming year. For expenditures, hit some high points on the expenditures. Salaries are reflecting a 3% increase for employees. There are some anticipated staffing changes for 2020, and some of the amounts reflect current and future positions. Health insurance premiums were increased 7% this year, and we had a 6.6% increase last year, so we're in the same range of increases. We're hoping that that will level off. Legal fees are on pace to meet or slightly exceed the budget for 2019, and the proposed budget in this is going to stay the same for 2020. And the ongoing legal expenses for the sewer project are accounted for separately. There's general legal and then there's sewer legal, and the sewer legal line item has been greatly reduced for next year. Capital outlay truck equipment fund shows $20,000 in public works for smaller equipment purchases. There have been some discussions about getting a new mower, a new kind of mower. So that's where that category is. Then we are adding $27,000 to the truck equipment fund, which is the annual allocation to build up the truck fund so that every 3 years on a rotating cycle, we can replace one of the trucks without having to finance it. So we try to work to save enough to then just buy the truck outright, and we bought one outright this past year. So no big paving projects planned for 2020. $100,000 has been allocated under transfer to capital improvement to continue saving for the next large paving project. $25,000 has been allocated to the 537 sewer plan category, a reduction from last year's budget, and the township will finalize the plan in 2020. And other expenditures were kept near levels to the extent possible. So this will be advertised for adoption at the December legislative meeting, which I believe is December 16th. So if anybody has any comments or questions about the budget, if you could email me or call me, stop in, and we can go over them in the next couple of weeks so that I can have a final draft ready. I'd like to get the ad in, early December. So if anybody could look this over in the next 2 weeks and get comments or questions back to me, that would be great. And then we can have the final thing all ready for adoption in December.
So you should do a motion to adopt the tentative budget and authorize the township manager to advertise the tentative budget for adoption at the December meeting. Because it has to be advertised.
Is this the tentative budget or the proposed budget?
Same thing.
Okay, since it's on her, she's used the word proposed.
I do, yeah.
Continuity.
And Commissioner Richard, a lot of the analysis has gone into the reserve funds because a lot of the expenses are more or less contracted. But we've been trying to establish a good fund for capital improvements, roads, etc., for trucks, which Gwen has done a very good job of. And when she refers to transfers, if we spend less than we analyzed or receive more than we thought in a prior year, when we see the audit, we know whether we were in the black or in the red. If we were in the black, we immediately transfer that into the next year's budget. So I think you'll see those things.
Okay.
So the motion, Harlan, that you said is motion to approve the proposed budget and authorize advertising for adoption in December? And Dan made the motion?
For adopting the final budget in December, at the December meeting.
I made that motion.
Second?
Do we have a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
None. right now.
No, we have a week to get back to you.
Yeah, I'll let you have 2 weeks. Week and a half, because Thanksgiving's in there.
Yeah.
Week and a half. All those in favor?
Pardon me?
I have a motion and a second?
Yep.
I was waiting for one last comment,
Sure.
but there are none.
No.
Well, there's a question. We're also authorizing the township manager to make adjustments to the budget, the proposed budget, should that be needed based on comments.
Yeah, I mean, that's
Implied.
implied, but you can, if you want to make it explicit, that's fine.
As long as it's implied, it's okay.
That's why it's called the tentative budget.
Yeah.
I think we'll have our second roll call vote, please.
Vice President Jones,
Yes?
Commissioner Williams,
Yes.
Commissioner Dara,
Yes,
and Commissioner Richard.
Yes.
And while you're doing, you should also pass a motion authorizing her to advertise the tax ordinance for adoption at your December meeting as well.
Make a motion.
Motion to authorize
To
the advertising of the tax
tax
ordinance for adoption in December.
Correct.
There was a second by Commissioner Dara. Any discussion?
so the tax ordinance is going to keep the tax rate the same.
Correct.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right. New business. Christmas tree recycling.
Let me pull up my calendar really quickly. We are still planning to do that this year. Last year, we rented our own chipper, and the guys chipped as they went rather than collect it and drop it off at the county, and that seemed to work really well. So that's the plan again, and the tentative date is January 6th, Monday, January 6th. We're gonna do it on a Monday, because that way people don't get their trees out, or they miss it, or it snows and they are plowing and can't do it, the trees can't get picked up by Waste Management on Tuesday.
Right.
Did Masonic Village enter into that? Or did they do it on themselves and have a Waste Management pick it up? I don't remember.
We don't do anything with the apartments, so we do not collect the trash, so that's not part of what we do.
Yeah.
I don't know if the crews went into the villas last year or not, that would be where they would go, and I don't know if they did that, or I don't know.
Okay.
I can find out.
And what was the date?
January 6th. And there will be signs posted around the township to remind people, later in December.
Cookies and coffee.
The past few years, we've had cookies and coffee following the December legislative meeting, just as to welcome residents and to thank residents, have a little holiday cheer at the end of our meeting, and so we would be happy to do it again this year. So at the end of the December 16th meeting, stay for a few minutes, audience members. Cookies and coffee
Yes.
at the end of that meeting.
Good. And for new commissioners, frequently family will come,
That would be lovely.
including
Next.
children.
He'll be here, trust me, for cookies.
And you can text and say, we're almost done.
Yeah.
Rather than have to sit through the whole thing, if that's really important.
And then Gwen, would you like to discuss the reorganization meeting date and adjustment?
Reorganization meeting is the first Monday after an election, and so that is also January 6th. So we will be here, we have to reorganize here. I will be getting affidavits of residency from the newly elected commissioners beforehand, so they will be on file beforehand. And we also set up with Magistrate Ford to come up at the beginning of the meeting and swear in the new commissioners so that they can be seated for their new term. Then we go through and basically reconfirm all of the things that we do during the year. We reconfirm the bank and where we advertise and our engineer and things like that. So it's just that kind of, we can also combine our workshop meeting with a reorganization meeting. So we can, for this coming January, we can combine the reorganization and workshop and have them both on January 6th, not have a meeting the second Monday of the month so that we don't have 3 in a row, and then have the legislative meeting on the normal schedule, which is the 3rd Monday of the month, if that suits everyone to not have 3 meetings in a row.
I don't.
I go for that.
I will not be in town on the 6th,
Okay,
actually, so I
so you will
apologize.
just make an arrangement to go get sworn.
Like I did before.
You know what to do.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you can't be here for that
Technically.
meeting, that's okay.
Okay.
Then
Then
just
it's
know
up to
that
you guys.
we won't have the workshop, so don't show up
This time.
the following, yeah.
Yep.
And
Well,
then
it's
just.
very
come to the list.
appropriate, she won't be here, and would you list the committees that will be named?
And
All of them?
you can't assign me while I'm not here,
All
no.
of them?
Yes, can you, please?
How many, okay, let's try. Finance, Public Works, Public Safety, Quaker Valley Fog, Quaker Valley Ambulance, Communications, something else, and Personnel.
Emergency management?
Emergency Management and Personnel.
So, and personnel is a new committee. So I will definitely, before those meetings, send out that list by email.
Okay.
But I wanted you to think a little bit about what committees you might like to be the chair of. I have my thoughts.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah. We can talk before that and then, yeah.
Well, you won't be here, so.
I know. I'll make sure all my wishes make it to Gwen. She'll have my back.
On a prior agenda, I listed current holders, the committees and current holders. So if you want to flip back, and it's also on the website under agendas if you lost yours, you can refresh your memory on who holds them currently.
And even just listening to them tonight, if anybody has any real interest to run one of these committees, let me know.
Authority, that's one. You knew that. Sorry, Dan.
I've been asked to do the COG again, which is fine with me.
Good. Citizen participation. You coming back for cookies and coffee? Good.
Actually, I have a question, actually, just thinking of it, the letter about the ambulance, do we need to post that anywhere or distribute that? Or does
That
it
would be
just
something
end
that would
there?
be great under the latest news button, I think, just kind of letting people know
Yeah.
that this is, because people might not even be aware that there is gonna be work. I mean, Art's mentioned it in a meeting, but not everyone listens to our meeting. So yeah, I would be happy to post that on the
Yeah, I think
latest
that'd be
news. Okay.
helpful.
Good.
Is it?
All right, so we are now moving into executive session.
On second thought, I don't think I need that executive session.
We are now
He's
not.
saving it for
moving-
cookies.
All right, never mind.
Therefore, is there any other new business, et cetera? And the meeting is adjourned.
Thank you.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Get your recorder.
Yeah.